2025 is basically over. There's 1 month left, and that month is primarily reserved for eating mince pies and clearing the horrific backlog of games that you've acquired over the course of the last year. However, if you are still hungry for more content or you want a couple of new VR games to play over the Christmas period, here are 12 fantastic looking titles releasing this December. Kicking things off is the 2025 Game Awards nominee for Best VR Game of the Year, Ghost Town. Now, Quest players and PCVR players have already had their fun with this one. It's available right now on Quest and PCVR. If you haven't played it, go pick it up, add it to that backlog, or play it this December. But on December 1st, it comes to PSVR2, meaning everyone in the VR space now has access to one of the best puzzle games released this year. Actually, scratch that. It really is one of the best VR games released in 2025. This beautiful, narrative-heavy, story-driven game is set in London in 1983, and players play as Edith Penrose as she searches for her missing brother, exorcising ghosts and solving intricate puzzles along the way. This really is one of the best-looking games I've ever played on the Quest. It also looks stunning on PC, and I'm sure the PSVR2 version will look just as fantastic. This one's out on December the 1st, and I would urge everyone who hasn't played it to pick it up, regardless of the platform you are on. Next up, on the 4th of December, which is one of the best days this month for new VR games, with not one, not two, but 3 fantastic looking new titles, we have Deadly Delivery. Now, I think the official genre name for this type of game is Friend Slop. Games like Lethal Company, Repo, RV There Yet, Peak, all fantastic games made by indie developers that are designed to be played with friends and are designed with fun at the heart of the experience. Deadly Delivery absolutely delivers on all of that. I played this game recently with Gamertag VR in a beta state, and we had so much fun. Players play as delivery goblins who have to deliver parcels to houses. Sounds simple enough, but then you realise these houses are situated in the most horrific places filled with pitfalls, traps, and horrible monsters that are going to do everything they can to stop you from making those deliveries. Definitely check this one out. Also releasing on the 4th of December, we have Black and White meets Little Cities in How to God, a god sim that tasks you, the player, with building, nurturing and growing your own tiny civilization. This game has a great sense of player-driven experimentation at its core. When I went hands-on with this back at Gamescom, I spent most of my time trying to mix elements together to discover new ones. Players can hold a rock in one hand and a ball of fire in the other hand, for example, and then smoosh them together to see if something new pops out. You can do the same with your villagers. Grab a regular villager and smush them together with a log to create a lumberjack. It's a wonderful system that rewards creativity and curiosity. How to God is the perfect game to sit and play on the sofa on Christmas Day when you're filled with food and couldn't bear the thought of anything more physical or intense. The final new VR game launching on the 4th of December is, of course, Thief VR Legacy of Shadow. Probably the final big AAA, highly sought after VR game for 2025. Now, this one is, of course, pretty huge. It's the first Thief game built for VR, and it's the first Thief game in something like 10 years. It's been absolutely ages since we had a brand new game set inside this universe. Instead of playing as the series protagonist Garrett, players play as Magpie. However, you are guided by Garrett via a strange little artifact that you stick in your eyeball. So Garrett's iconic voice will guide you through this game, and I've played this in several different states, and I must say every time I play it, it gets better and better. Really excited to go hands-on with the final version of this game. If you want a proper, fully focused stealth adventure, this is the one for you. You really can't muck around here. It's not like Hitman where you can just start shooting people and going hog wild. You have to be stealthy. You have to become a thief. At this point, we are just days away from release, and I will have some coverage for you on launch day. I think I'll be covering the PCVR version first, so keep your eyes peeled for that video soon. I don't need all VR games to be bombastic, action-packed experiences. In fact, some of my favourite VR games are slow-moving, methodical, serene titles that really are just a way to escape normal everyday life. Lush Foil Photography Simulator VR looks to be another fantastic example of just that. This is a photography game. It isn't Pokemon Snap in VR, you won't be running around trying to get little pictures of critters, but you will be taking photos. That is the central gameplay loop here. Find the perfect spot, line up the perfect shot, set the exposure, the white balance, the flash, the timer, the aperture, all of that is under your control. Love the idea of this, can't wait to get stuck in on December 5th. I'm not sure why, but in the world of VR, developers have this strange obsession with announcing games just weeks before they're due to come out, and then essentially not allowing there to be any hype or build up at all. That is essentially what's happened right here with a brand new Men in Black VR game from Coatsink, the developers behind one of my most beloved VR games that I think is genuinely really underrated, Jurassic World Aftermath. Now at this stage we don't really know much about this game at all. As I say, it's out at the end of this week, we haven't got a gameplay trailer, it's a bit of an unknown. However, I have played it. I went somewhere specifically to play it. I don't think I can say anything else at this stage, so I'm not gonna say anything else at this stage. But this is a fully fledged Men in Black action-adventure story-driven experience built for VR by Coatsink. And that's all I can say. How are we all feeling about mixed reality experiences? What's the temperature like when it comes to new MR games? Are you guys still looking to purchase them? Do you think it's a bit of a fad? Do you think it's a bit of a gimmick? Let me know in the comments. This right here looks absolutely fantastic, but I have one worry and one gripe. This is Pocket Lands. It's essentially a MR version of Minecraft. You get to build and construct your own world, and you can see it all laid out in front of you in your own personal space. It looks wonderful. Like, I could spend hours just building and crafting things on essentially what is Minecraft MR. My only worry with this is, how interesting is a Minecraft experience where you don't have any of the mobs and things? My understanding is right now you can drop in and play this as a VR experience as well, but you won't have the mobs and the adventure element. Hopefully that will come, it will develop into that, but I still think this looks fantastic right now. Can't wait to check it out when Pocket Lands launches on December the 11th. More mixed reality now, as the popular eSpire MR missions, which originally shipped with eSpire 2 as a bonus mode, gets its own standalone release on December the 16th. Now personally, eSpire 2's mixed reality mode was the first time I really thought, okay, MR has genuine potential as far as creating full-fledged games goes. The right game feels like absolute magic in mixed reality, and although there have been many great experiences since, I still think eSpire MR missions is one of the best examples of this working. These are proper stealth-focused infiltration missions that play out in your own home with little windows into VR worlds which you can interact with, and it feels like genuine witchcraft. If you've got a big enough play space, this immediately becomes one of the coolest things that you could showcase to friends and family this Christmas, because it doesn't rely on any kind of artificial movement to play. You simply walk through the environments, take cover behind your own furniture, and complete the missions. The standalone version of eSpire MR missions will be free to those who own eSpire 2 for a period of time, so grab it fast this December 16th. We're now on to a few titles that have December as their intended release month, but have no fixed date at the time of recording this video. Up first is the long-awaited PSVR2 version of Shadowgate Mines of Mythrock. This dungeon-crawling puzzle adventure based on the Shadowgate series, which originally launched for Apple Macs all the way back in 1987, the year I was born. Yes, I am old, and yes, I do feel the sands of time slipping through my fingers each and every second of each and every day, made the leap to VR on Quest and PCVR in 2022, and it's now being ported to Sony's VR platform by Flat2VR. It's been a while since I played this one personally, but I remember really enjoying my time with the game when it came out. The puzzles were challenging enough to keep me guessing, the dungeons are filled with traps that keep you on your toes, and you're equipped with a magic wand and shield combo to help fend off any creatures you might encounter whilst exploring these maze-like environments. Fans of classic dungeon dungeon crawling on PSVR2 should be in for a treat when this launches later this month. Also dropping at some point this December is Smasher, an arcade cyberpunk VR action shooter for PCVR and Quest that combines weapon-based combat with spellcasting and pits players against wave after wave of neon-infused enemies. Now, I must admit I don't know a huge amount about this game other than what I've seen here in this trailer and what I've read up on the storefront pages, so I do have a few lingering questions. From the gameplay in this trailer, it appears as though players are primarily held in one location with no free movement systems. It appears to be an on-the-rails shooter that pushes you forward through various arenas, each containing different challenges or objectives to overcome, and occasionally boss fights to survive. Now, I don't have long to wait to find out how this one plays though, as Smasher is set to launch sometime in the next 4 weeks. Alongside Deadpool VR, this game right here was the best thing I played at an admittedly quiet Gamescom for VR games earlier this year. Street Gods is a new VR smash 'em up from Soul Assembly that will get your pulse racing and your limbs moving. This action roguelike puts players into the shoes of a hammer-wielding god. Yeah, it sounds like Thor, but legally I don't think we can say that it is Thor, who has to smash, dash and destroy his or her way through arenas filled with cosmic zombie weirdos. My favourite thing about Street Gods was the ability to throw your hammer and then teleport to where you've just thrown it with the touch of a button. It takes a little while to master, but once you've got it down, you'll be pulling off all kinds of crazy combos like throwing the hammer way up into the air, teleporting to it, and then slamming down with a ground pound attack to wipe out a horde of enemies. Excited to get more hands-on time with this one before it releases later this month. And finally, the last new VR game of 2025. Well, possibly not chronologically speaking, because we don't know the release date for this one either. It's another TBC December, but it's certainly the last one I'm talking about in one of these list videos for the year, is True Surf. A surfing game, a VR surfing game for the Quest platform. Now again, I don't know a huge amount about it, I've only seen this trailer which released really recently, but I will say this, it looks simultaneously really nice and actually quite realistic in certain parts, and then not great in others. Maybe it's just the hands. I think it's the hands. The hands look kind of weird and flat and cartoony, but some of the environments look fantastic. Either way, I don't really care how it looks as long as it feels fun to play. And a VR surfing game could be very fun to play. That's it from me. Hopefully you've had a great 2025. See you in 2026 for more new VR games. Take care and have a great Christmas. Peace out.